Well, welcome to Inspirational Breakfast this morning. Real good to have your company. So glad you could join us wherever you are across the country. I'm Michael Vanstone with you this morning, and we're going now to find out what's going on in Ukraine. The war in Ukraine has obviously been taking the big number one slot in all our news bulletins now for 2 weeks and a bit. And this morning, Russia is accusing the US of developing chemical weapons in Ukraine. America says this is a false flag spread by Russia to justify its own possible attempts to use biological warfare. Well, meanwhile, more than 2 million people have fled their homes in the biggest refugee crisis since the Second World War. And through all this, many Ukrainians are holding on to their faith to help them through these desperate times. And despite the risks, Bibles are still being distributed, even in the most dangerous areas. Well, joining us now from Kyiv, central Kyiv, is Deputy General Secretary of the Ukrainian Bible Society. That's Anatoliy Raychynets. Well, it's good to have you with us, Anatoliy, on what is obviously a very grim day. What's the situation like in Kyiv at the moment?
Situation in Kyiv now, we just for 15 minutes ago had the siren and people running to the basements who have this opportunity. We had a lot of attacks today since 4 o'clock early morning until now. Sun shining, but the atmosphere and situation is really difficult. It's so painful to see day by day women with small kids running here outside of our office in the streets to find the basement bombing room to hide themselves there. So situation is very difficult. Many people crying out to help them to come out of Kyiv. Many people, I met people yesterday and days before who didn't have the bread for 3-4 days. Elderly people who are surrounding my office, our office, Bible Society office. We have here a lot of apartments, buildings, who cannot go outside. It's people who have some illness, and they are just sitting in apartments and waiting for a miracle that someone will come to them. And they called us, our volunteers, "You are angels. You are angels." When we find out that they need medical help and medicine and bread.
So did you feel safe when you were coming into your office this morning?
No, you never feel safe now here in Kyiv for 15-16 days, because you can hear shooting there, bombing, exploding there, and sometimes it's so close that I think that Bible Society office is shaking, like we don't know if we are safe inside here even.
Now, we've seen a video showing people in Ukraine reading Psalm 31 from their bunkers and shelters. It's a very poignant video. Is there a sense that more people are turning to God through these dark times, would you say, Anatoliy?
I will answer you with what happened yesterday. We have been outside here in one park to deliver bread to elderly people who coming together and waiting for us that we will come with the fresh bread. And I always have in my vehicle Bibles. So it was children Bibles for bombing room basements where people, ladies and children hiding themselves to distribute there. But one lady saw the Bibles in car and saying, "Is it Bibles? Yes. Can I have one, please?" And other people, this was like 80-90 people there. So I have a small video. They just came to the car and, "Can I have one?" And one man stood there with the bread in one hand and the Bible in another hand and said, "I think that Bible is more important than daily bread for me personally now. I never prayed before. I never have been to church." He's like 70 plus years old. Never read the Bible. But I know that now I feel that now it's time to come closer to God. And we met so many people last 2 weeks here in Kiev, where we're serving people who never had a Bible before, never prayed before, but now they're asking, are you from church? Are you from Bible Society? Please pray for us on the streets, at homes, everywhere.
So would you say that this is a bit like a revival going on in
It
people
is,
because of their
absolutely.
desperation?
Yes, people are searching to their faith because they know, well, the majority of people understand, and myself, that it must happen miracle to release this situation, because we don't see any diplomatic or other solutions. We just know, understand deep inside in us, only God can make some changes and stop this horrible war.
So what has happened in your own life and faith because of the war that's happened in the last 2 weeks? Has your trust in God deepened?
Yes, I will answer yes, because sometimes, to be honest with you, sometimes when you see a pain and suffering, so many people, when I came to bomb room, to metro station, subway station here outside of the office, Nivki, named Nivki, and a lot of people, thousands of people running there to hide themselves. And I saw so many women and small children crying, asking for different help. One lady came to me and said, do you have any medicine? Because my child have a fever. We don't have anything here. So you have a, as a pastor, you can you heard a lot of things in your life, but it's so painful. It's cutting the heart. But and I saw just felt that darkness is so powerful now. All evil and darkness here. And then one lady came and said, thank you that you're bringing light here into this darkness. Thank you for what you're doing. And I think I just remind myself, John chapter 1 and first 4 verses, where we read about that light came to the world and darkness never have a victory up on light. So we bring light. And my personal experience is that we need to bring more and more light in this horrible darkness now.
So, Anatoly, tell me, how do you see things working out from here? And what are you actually expecting? If there is any kind of expectation, what are you expecting to happen from here on?
We are very grateful to all of you who are standing with us in prayer and solidarity. We see a lot of countries, Christians in all of the world, standing with us, praying for Ukraine, doing a lot of charity, sending help here. But what we asking and pray for, and asking all of the world Christians, brothers and sisters, to tell to the government, we need to lock the sky if your countries can help us, because where we're losing a lot of lives. It's bombing from the sky. Missiles comes to the cities. You saw the news yesterday from Mariupol, other cities here in Kiev. It's what is our cry out to stand with us in prayer. And I want just to tell you that prayer, we see so many miracles. I saw personally many miracles last 16 days, when bombs falling down or rockets and doesn't explode. And a lot of life has been saved because of that. Russian tanks left it because it's empty for fuel. and soldiers running in Odessa, Black Sea. Many it has been 4 days big storm, and they could not come closer to the city to shoot rockets. So prayer, your prayers is bringing already results and miracles and saving a lot of lives.
Yeah, Anatoly, maybe I could ask you, look, the Bible tells us that there are going to be wars and rumors of wars. Do you hear God saying anything through what's going on at the moment about maybe his plans and his purposes long term?
It's difficult to answer shortly to your question, but our experience is that this difficult situation already changing our nation, changing us our attitude to values of life, people standing together, people helping each other. And I see so much God's love in spite of war here, how people acting to each other, how people sharing small pieces of bread with each other. They are driven by love of God. So what happening in Ukraine, I think that Ukraine will come out of this situation like a really Christian nation who believe in God, who trust to God, who pray together. I have been to Sofia with a church council, all churches, Orthodox, Catholics, Protestants, Evangelical, all together, where we're standing in prayer together. It's very powerful that all of us understand that only God's miracle can stop the war in Ukraine.
We'll leave it there, Anatoliy, but thank you so much for joining us. Be sure of our prayers in these next uncertain days, because who knows what's going to happen next, but we entrust you to God and to his love and care. And thank you so much for sharing very openly and honestly with us this morning. That's Anatoliy Raychynets, who is the Deputy General Secretary of the Ukrainian Bible Society, and please be praying for him and those he's talked about this morning during this day.